Well, the midterm election race is now in the home stretch, with the only poll that really matters happening in just 5 days now. And candidates from the front runners to the dark horses really cannot afford to make any mistakes, with control of Congress and many state houses up for grabs. That's why we decided to talk about the best and worst campaigns this year. Joe Trippi, former Howard Dean campaign manager and Fox News contributor. He's a Democratic strategist. He's going to take a look at the best and worst for the Republicans. And Ron Bonjean is the former communications director to House Speaker Dennis Hastert and is a Republican strategist. He's going to focus on the Dems. So let's have some fun, guys, right?
Sounds great.
All right, Joe, let's go ahead and talk to you first. Let's talk about the best campaigns, Joe. What Republican do you think is running the best campaign this year?
I think you got to give credit to Rick Scott down in Florida for governor. He's a guy who was CEO of a company that committed $1.7 billion in fraudulent overcharges and shouldn't even be in the race against an excellent Democrat, Alex Sink, but has stuck to a really tough message of against politicians, against Washington, and tying a lot of the anxiety in Florida to Obama, which people said, how can you do that? You're running for governor. It's got nothing to do with Obama and Washington, but he's pulling it off. And like, he's only got a slight lead there, but he shouldn't be in the race. So you have to give him credit for running the best, I think, one of the best GOP races this year.
Staying alive a little bit. Ron, what about you? Who's running the best campaign on the side of the Democrats?
Yeah, I'd have to say Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado. He is Bill Clinton at its best. During the primary, he went far left, embraced the health care proposal, but this is now a candidate for re-election who has completely run against the Democrat agenda. He's running as far away from it as possible. Asked President Obama, don't come into the state. I'm going to act like a Republican. He has embraced Republican tax relief and deficit-cutting policies, and he's completely morphed from a Democrat into a Republican. And that's why that's why he's in a neck-and-neck race.
That is a neck-and-neck race. Joe, what do you think? Do you think he's having an identity crisis, Michael Bennet?
No, actually, I think Bennet, really is a conservative Democrat. I actually did a primary against him with Romanoff, who was the former speaker, who was the liberal in the race. So it's really, I think, true to form, but he's running a very smart campaign.
All right, let's go to the worst campaigns. We'll start with you, Ron, again. As far as the Democrats, who do you think is just the most abysmal candidate for the Democrats this year?
Yeah, you bet. Senator Russ Feingold is the absolute worst candidate running right now for re-election. He's actually doing the exact opposite. He's embracing Democrat proposals, literally litigating the stimulus package and the health care law in campaign commercials when the top issues are jobs and the economy. And, I'm from Wisconsin, and in places like Madison, which are full of liberals and progressives, they haven't come out in droves for him because there's no enthusiasm there.
And the man that's coming up, Ron Johnson, virtually an unknown, is actually ahead in the polls. What about you, Joe? Worst campaign for Republicans this year?
Got to be John Racy in West Virginia. He was way up a few weeks ago. Then a bunch of stuff started going wrong. His campaign looked for hicky actors to act like West Virginians in his TV. That created a scandal. Then it was his pink marble driveway in his Florida mansion, and the fact that his wife was registered to vote in Florida, not West Virginia. And then to top it off, came out to abolish the minimum wage. Not a really good, smart idea in economically pressured West Virginia, when all he had to do was stick to the same kind of against Washington formula that a lot of the GOP is running right now with great effect. So I think a disaster of a candidate turned what could have been a big upset win into right now looks like he's drifting lower, and that thing may be getting away from him.
It's really interesting about all the folks that you mentioned, with the exception of Wisconsin, Ron. All of these races are a toss-up according to Real Clear Politics. So the best and the worst are really well, they're still in the race no matter what, I guess, no matter what the opinions are. We appreciate it, Joe and Ron. Maybe we'll have you come back when we have these candidates, seeing what the results are, and you can give them a little advice for the future ahead. Thank you so much.
It's a lot of fun.
Thanks, Joe and Ron.
A scuba diver comes face-to-face with Jaws. Watch closely. This is quick. His underwater camera catches this frightening encounter on tape. No, there it went. 30-year-old Scott McNichol actually used his camera to